Have you ever wanted to make a video of your plane flying while you're flying it? Well, I did. And it turns out that there's a way to do that. It's called a SoloShot2. The key here is, will this thing actually keep up with an RC airplane? And we're going to do a bunch of flying later on to see how that works. This is the SoloShot2 base unit, and it attaches to any good solid tripod. The camera mounts to this tilt head and is held in place by a 1/4-20 screw operated by that dial near the top of it. The base unit itself has a motor that handles the left to right panning. And this is the control panel we use to set the SoloShot2 up. And there's ports on the side for the USB charging and other cables that come with the unit. The antenna on the side is how the base unit receives communications from the tag unit that goes on the subject being videoed. And on the other side is the accessory port. And this is the tag unit in its holder on the armband that comes with the kit. If we put the tag unit onto the base unit, both that and the base will charge at the same time. The kit comes with a USB charging cord, but you need one of these AC adapters of your own. During charging, the red light on the tag and the side of the base will change to green when charging is complete. This is the camera controller accessory module that's compatible with the growing list of camcorders on the market. And while we don't have to charge this module up, it does have the pins going through it so we can put the tag on it and charge that with this on. Fortunately, my Canon X810 camcorder is compatible with the SoloShot, and they had firmware to make it compatible with their module. During the setup procedure, you plug that module's cable into your camera, and that gives the unit control over the zoom. It can also start and stop recording. At the site where we're going to make the video, the first thing we do is turn the tag on. Then we set this right side up in an open area for at least 8 minutes so we can figure out where all the satellites are. When setting up the SoloShot2, we want to be sure that it's as close as possible to straight up and down, side to side, and front to back. The setup procedure is a little involved, and I'm not going to try and duplicate it here, but you do get good cheat sheets and instructions with the unit. I think a lot of this setup is to help define to the SoloShot the area in which it's going to be following its subject. The LEDs on the back let you select options that help you fine-tune the SoloShot for the kind of video you're going to shoot. The red number 1 LED tells it that we're going to have some big altitude changes. When the tag's number 1 LED flashes red, it means it's time to start walking around. For the big air setting, where there's a lot of altitude changes, they say to walk around with the puck in your hand facing up out in the open for about 150 steps. They do say that fewer steps reduces the accuracy of the tracking somehow. But the good news is that they also say that anything over 150 doesn't seem to have any additional benefit. You end 150 steps back at the base unit, hold the tag directly above it, and push the plus buttons on both the tag and the base unit at the same time, and that pairs them up, indicated by the lights flashing. Then you go out to the focus point that the instructions told you about earlier. I didn't cover all of this. And you push the button once more, and that locks the base unit in, and it'll start recording. But you can stop the recording from the tag if you want to get back and get the tag set up and what you want to record. And remember that I'm not covering the entire setup procedure here, so you need to follow the instructions closely. For the first test videos, I'm going to put the tag in its holder on top of my cub. Eventually, I want to try and put the tag inside of a canopy to see if that has any effect on things. Later in the testing, in response to suggestions made by SoloShot, I moved the center point out to over 200 feet and increased the walk around to about 200 steps. Those increases didn't seem to enhance performance at all. Keep the plane low and slow, and the SoloShot2 does a pretty good job at tracking it. There's no doubt about that. I purposely used my 105-inch cub because its large size and slow speed should favor the slow shot. And in this clip we had the autofocus on, which you can see at many points doesn't work. But when you do a takeoff or any other kind of maneuver that involves some vertical element, the SoloShot pretty much loses it. And it can take a while for it to find the plane again. Slower descents, like when you're coming in for a landing or to make a slow pass, the SoloShot can handle that pretty well. When you stand around and just watch the SoloShot, it looks like it's actually aimed at the plane pretty well, which makes me wonder if it isn't zooming in too much and sucking itself right past the plane. Here I purposely kept everything as slow as I could and still maintain control of the plane. Even in the bank coming back around, it almost loses it, but it does catch up, and then it seems to follow it up pretty well. But if you watch, the plane is just barely stable, it's going so slow. Pull the nose up a little bit to do a roll, and it's gone again, and then comes back into the frame. If what you want to record stays on the ground or close to it, the SoloShot2 might be what you need. Panning left and right doesn't seem to be an issue. Vertical can be an issue pretty often. I had great hopes of the SoloShot2 allowing me to show you what a plane can do. But when a 100 and some inch Cub zooms right up out of the picture, there's not a lot of hope for all my other planes. I'll keep playing with this thing to try and get it to work, but in the meantime, my buddy G and his camera skills are back on deck. This could be a great idea for radio control flying, but it needs a lot of work. Maybe we can call this in and out of the frame some kind of cinematic effect. But not even that kind of wishful thinking makes it worth $500 to make the plane go out of the frame.